Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Liam Douglas here, and in today's video we're doing an unboxing review of the Fujifilm GF 32 to 64 millimeter f4R LMWR lens for the Fujifilm GFX mount camera system. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and roll the intro. Okay, so here we have the GF 32 to 64 f4R LMWR lens on loan to me from Fujifilm North America, along with the GFX 100S Mark II, which you saw in my previous video. I want to give a shout out to Daniel Carpenter for being kind enough to lend me this gear for these reviews. So let's go ahead and open the box, and inside the box we have a bag with the lens carrying pouch to put the lens in to keep it safe when you're transporting it. So we've got that in here, and we've got the lens itself along with its lens hood. So let's go ahead and get that out and open up the bag here and pull out the lens itself. And this is the 32 to 64. It is quite a beefy lens. It's a decent sized lens, especially in comparison to my 35 to 70 f4.5 to 5.6, and that's all we have in this particular box. Now normally it would have the owner's manuals in there as well, but being this is gear that's lent out by Fujifilm on a regular basis, it's understandable that the book is missing. That's perfectly fine for the purpose of this video. So this lens, as I mentioned, whoops, sorry about that, I hit the camera, is an RLMWR. So the R means it has the aperture ring, of course, and the LM means it has a linear motor for the autofocus system, and the WR means, of course, that it is weather resistant. Now, being this is a 32 to 64 millimeter lens and 35 millimeter full frame field of view, it would equate to 25 to 51 millimeters. So it's a fairly versatile range. You got a little bit of wide angle on the widest end, and then you got more of a normal perspective on the telephoto end for making your images. Now, this lens does do f4 to f32. It has one super ED element and one regular ED element, and it has fluorine coated front element to reduce ghosting and flaring. It does have the command position on the aperture ring as well as automatic, and it has three spherical elements, the linear AF motor with internal focusing, of course, dust and weather resistant construction, and it has a round 9-bladed aperture diaphragm to give you nice bokeh balls when you're capturing. Now, this lens is one of the most popular lenses for the GFX mount. A lot of people own this lens and love this lens. It's very sharp, it has very good contrast and color rendition, and it is an extremely versatile lens. You could use it, like I said, for landscapes. You could use it for portraits, some studio work. It just depends on what your needs are. Now, for myself, the primary place that I used this lens was last week while my friend Clint Nichols, who was one of my best friends from high school, and my son Alex and Clint's friend Mike and I took a day trip to Ticonderoga, New York. Now, we went up there because Clint and I have always wanted to visit the Star Trek, the original series set tour museum, which is located in Ticonderoga, New York. So we finally went last Wednesday. It was kind of it wasn't pre-planned. I didn't know we were going to take a day and go there when Tina and I were headed up north for the 2 weeks because I didn't know that Clint had ended up retiring from his job at Athens School District early. So he had the free time, I had the free time because I was recently laid off from my IT job. So we went ahead and went up there last Wednesday, and I used the GFX 100S Mark II along with the 32 to 64 to get some images while we were at the set tour museum. Now, they don't allow you to film any video there, which was a little bit of a bummer. I did have my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 with me. But now that they're officially licensed and endorsed by Paramount Studios, they're no longer allowed to let people shoot video on the premises inside the actual museum. So I shot a quick clip from the outside while I was standing out in front of the building that you'll see in this video that I shot with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So we went through and toured the entire facility. They had some amazingly detailed sets that you'll be able to see in the still images in this video. They had the transporter room and all of the details. They had the briefing room. They had sick bay and the science labs along with the decompression chamber. They had Kirk and Spock's quarters. They had the hallway with the slanted Jeffries tube that Scotty frequently did major repairs in. We got to see the engineering section as well, and we also got to be inside a turbo lift. And then, of course, the last set that we got to see was the bridge of the USS Enterprise, and I even got to sit in the captain's chair. Now, I did take images with this setup at the museum, but I did also capture some with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, only because nobody in my group knew how to operate this medium format camera besides myself. So when I had them take pictures of me, stuff like that, I had them do it with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I'm going to include those stills into this video as well. But this is an extremely handy, capable, and versatile lens. And as I said before, it is one of the most popular lenses in the GFX mount. It is an all-time favorite by most GFX shooters, whether they're using the 50S, the 50R, the 50S2, the 100, the 100 Mark II, or the 100S or S Mark II. Any of those camera bodies, this lens is incredibly popular. Now, it's not an inexpensive lens, but keep in mind it's medium format. This lens sells new for about $2,300 US. So definitely not an inexpensive lens, but a super high quality, well-constructed lens that you're going to be extremely happy with the results that you get from this lens in combination with any of Fuji's wonderful GFX camera bodies. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my still images with you now. Keep in mind, I have images included in this slideshow from both the GFX 100S Mark II and my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put a little label on the sets of photos to differentiate so you know which ones are which. But go ahead and take a look at these images in the slideshow, and then I'll be back to wrap up this video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in Ticonderoga, New York, outside the Star Trek The Original Series Set Tour Museum, which is really cool. We're not allowed to film inside it other than stills photos, which I'll include. But we're going to go through and do the tour now and check out all the cool sets and props that they have inside this really cool museum. Okay, so as you got to see in my slideshow, I did get some really amazing images of the various sets at the Star Trek The Original Series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York last week. And you have to keep in mind, the lighting isn't the greatest inside the museum. They basically have the entire complex set up the way it was in the 1960s when they were actually live filming the original series TV show. So the lighting is set up the same with the shadows. They have these special cookie objects that are mounted up high above the sets in front of the multicolored lighting that they used. And those cookies are specifically designed metal circles with patterns in them, and they cast the appropriate shadows on the walls for the sets to create the depth of the environment when they were filming. So everything is set up the same way it was in the 1960s when they were actually live filming the TV series every week. So we didn't have super bright lighting conditions, but I think the GFX 100S Mark II coupled with the 32-64 lens did a great job of getting some really good quality images, as did my iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I'm very happy with the results I got, and hopefully you enjoyed them as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch it. Please remember to subscribe down below, turn on all notifications, and I will see you in the next video.